You escaped the rat race. Nobody noticed. There's a version of freedom you were promised. Somebody hits a number, quits on a Friday, posts about it, and the whole internet claps. That's not what actually happens to most people who get free. What actually happens is quieter than that, and lonelier, and almost nobody claps at all. This is what it actually looks like from the inside, and why the silence around it is the whole point. Their names are Kayla and you. Same hire date, same entry-level marketing job at a regional insurance company in Tampa, same $46,000 starting salary, same cubicle row on the 4th floor. From the outside, identical starting lines. Kayla treats the job like the destination. She's in early, out late, first to volunteer for the Stretch Project, first to get the promotion 18 months in. By year 3, she's a senior coordinator making $71,000, driving a leased Audi, living in a 1-bedroom with a view of the water. People at the office talk about her the way you talk about someone who's made it. She talks about the job like it's who she is. You treat the job like fuel. Same paycheck, different math. Week 1, you set up an automatic transfer, $200 out of every check into a brokerage account before you ever see the number in your checking app. Week 3, you start a spreadsheet that tracks one number, your monthly expenses, held flat on purpose while your income moves. Nobody notices any of this. There's no version of I built a spending floor that sounds impressive at a happy hour. By year 3, you're making $58,000, less than Kayla, meaningfully less, and you're still driving the same used Civic you had in college. The gap between your car and hers sits in the parking garage every single morning like a scoreboard nobody asked you to look at, but your expenses haven't moved in 3 years. The number that leaves your account every month is functionally the same one that left it your first month on the job. Every raise, every year-end bonus has gone somewhere Kayla's never gone, into an account that doesn't touch your life at all until you decide it does. At the year 3 review, your manager mentions a stretch assignment, a lateral move into a smaller regional team, less visibility, less glamour, but full autonomy and a 4-day structure once you're ramped. Kayla wouldn't touch it. You take it immediately, not because it pays more, it doesn't, but because it buys back 6 hours a week you didn't have before. Nobody in the office understands the decision. From where they're sitting, you just turn down the visible path for something smaller. This is the part nobody warns you about going in. The exit from the rat race doesn't look like an exit. It looks like staying exactly where you are while your relationship to the paycheck quietly changes underneath you. The scoreboard everyone else is reading, title, car, apartment, promotion timeline, stops being the scoreboard you're playing. But you're still standing on the same floor as everyone reading it, and to them it looks like you stalled. At Kayla's 30th birthday, someone asks, "What's new with you?" You say work's fine. You watch the question move past you towards someone with a promotion to announce. You go home and sit with a feeling you can't quite name. Not envy, not regret. Something closer to invisibility. The math is working. Nobody can see the math. Then the stress test arrives, the way it always does, without asking permission. 18 months later, the company announces a restructuring. Both your team and Kayla's are affected. Same Tuesday, same 9 a.m. meeting, same box under the arm by noon, same severance, 6 weeks. But the moment you're in your car in the parking garage, you open your accounts and the number sitting there, built quietly, contributed to automatically, never once mentioned at a happy hour, tells you something Kayla's numbers don't. You have 14 months of runway. Kayla has 5 weeks. Kayla takes the first offer 3 weeks later, a title bump, but herself it's temporary. It might be, but she never got the chance to find out because the runway wasn't there to let her look. You take a different approach. You turn down the first 2 offers. One because the role is a step backward disguised as a lateral move. One because something about the final round conversation didn't sit right. Nobody around you understands why you're being picky during a layoff. You don't explain it. You just sit with the number and let it do the one job you built it to do, buy you the right to say no. 11 weeks in, you take a role at a smaller company, less prestigious name, genuinely better fit, a manager who talks about outcomes instead of hours. It pays 4% less than the job you lost. Nobody at the going-away dinner Kayla throws herself understands why you seem, if anything, more relaxed than you were before the layoff. You don't try to explain that either. A few months into the new role, on an ordinary Sunday evening, you open the brokerage account out of habit rather than anxiety, and a number on the screen stops you. Your contributions that month across everything came to $340. The account grew by more than that on its own. Nothing you did, nothing you decided, just the compounding that's been running quietly since your first month at the insurance company. Through the leased Audi and the happy hours and the layoff and the 14 months of runway and all of it, the money made more money than you put in. That's the actual finish line, and it doesn't look like a finish line. It's not a number, it's a ratio. The moment the money starts doing more of the work than you are, once that ratio flips, it doesn't flip back. What it actually buys you doesn't arrive as a revelation. It arrives on an ordinary Thursday 7 months later, when your phone rings and it's your sister, and she needs to leave her job immediately for reasons that have nothing to do with money and everything to do with a workplace that stopped being safe for her. She calls you first because she remembers you always seemed to have room to breathe, that she didn't. You don't hesitate. You cover 2 months of her rent without opening a spreadsheet first. You don't calculate whether you can, you already know. That's what the $200 transfers were always for. Not the account balance. Not the 4-day week. Not even the 14 months of runway. It was always for the version of you who could say yes to someone else without doing the math first, because the math had already been done, quietly, on 100 ordinary paydays. Nobody was watching. You didn't escape loudly. There was no resignation letter, no announcement, no applause. You're still at a desk. You still have a boss. From the outside, nothing about your life looks like an exit at all. But somewhere behind it, the rat race stopped being the race you were running a long time ago, and nobody around you ever noticed the moment it happened. That was never the point. Pay attention this week to the thing that would make your life look more like winning to somebody else. Notice the pull. That's the race. Still running. Still designed to catch the people trying hardest to look like they've already won. The knowing doesn't make it easier to ignore. But here's the question that belongs to you now. When someone calls needing you to already be free, will you be?